I'm cooking from a book I got for my birthday. It's the Greedy Blinders recipe book. Now you might think it's from that popular television series with a similar name, but you would be wrong. The publishers point out it's unauthorised, it's unofficial. So what is it? Well, it's a recipe book, ain't it? A collection of recipes popular in Birmingham and the Black Country around the late 1800s. Some of them might even have been eaten by the gang. Well, you might have noticed I'm speaking a bit different. Well, this is my native tongue. I'm a Black Countryman, born and bred, and I'm proud on it. Now, if you could understand what I'm on about, here's a few phrases that might give some idea of how we speak. When we greet each other, we might say, "How do? How been you?" which roughly translated means, "Hello, how have you been?" Now the title of this video, Bostin Fittle. Bostin don't mean it's broke, that's busted. It means good, excellent. And fittle, well, that's food, good food. And yes, you're watching this on YouTube. And I'll just put you right on another thing. Birmingham ain't in the Black Country, even though it's just a few miles up the road. Back then, in the Black Country, the attitude towards food was quite different to what it is today. In this heavily industrialised area, people worked in the factories and down the mines for long hours for very little money. Food had to be cheap and nourishing, and I dare say healthy. They reared livestock, mainly chickens and pigs, in very confined spaces. And if you was lucky enough to have a garden, you'd be growing fruit and vegetables. Some of the recipes in the book, you'd be hard pressed to find the ingredients today. You'll look in the butcher's or grocer's shop of yesteryear, and you'd see pig strotters for pig strotter stew, and pig's head for a pig's head terrine. Well, I think that's enough, and it's time to leave the past behind. The Greedy Blinders dish I'm cooking on my barbecue today is black pudding and rhubarb starter. Now, I do know a lot of you don't like black pudding, but it's still very popular here in the Black Country. So just don't think too much about what it's made from. I've got some lovely homegrown rhubarb, given to me by my very good friend Noreen. And the recipe requires just 110 grams. First, chop the ends off and remove the stringy skin. This is the first time I've made this recipe. The publishers do say none of the recipes in the book have been formally tested, and they accept no responsibility for the outcome. Now, cut the rhubarb into pieces about 2.5 centimetres. It's a very easy recipe, but I'm sure it was never intended to be cooked on a barbecue. I'm going to bake it in one of these Lakeland non-stick barbecue trays. Because they're non-stick, absolutely ideal for the job. Now sprinkle over 1 teaspoon of white sugar and give it a bit of a shake. My barbecue is warmed up. I'm cooking at 190 degrees C using a wire rack on the griddle, so hot air can circulate all around the pan. A quick grind of black pepper and let it cook for 5 to 10 minutes until the rhubarb is soft and tender. To make the syrup, I'm adding 50 ml of apple juice to my cast iron pan, together with 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. Now, a few pieces of that baked rhubarb. With the pan on the heat, the rhubarb's done, so I'm transferring it to the warming rack while I cook the black pudding and make the syrup. Pop the lid on the pan and 2 thick slices of black pudding on the griddle. Big mistake. Don't put the lid on the pan and don't close the barbecue lid. Keep your eye on it. In just a few minutes, instead of being a syrup, it turned out to be rhubarb jam. A flip of the black pudding and it's time to plate up. This recipe yield should have been 4 servings. To my mind, it's more stingy blinders than greedy blinders. My other half didn't want to try it, so it's a double portion for me. To finish off, a spoonful of rhubarb jam. And there it is. Baked rhubarb, black pudding with rhubarb jam. I have to say, the sweetness of the rhubarb and the savoury of the black pudding go well together, much better than I thought. And the next time I make it, there'll be a rhubarb syrup and not a jam. If you'd like to know more about cooking on the Weber-Q, or the Greedy Blinders recipe book, or even the area of the UK where I come from, the Black Country, all you have to do is sub my channel. Simply click the button at the bottom of the screen, activate and ding the bell, and leave your question in the comments section. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Now, here's the recipe recap. Well, for a starter, that's not bad. However, if you're making it for 4 people, the quantities need to be adjusting. The rhubarb needs to be doubled and more apple juice to make the syrup. The book itself is not what I would call a serious cookbook. However, with its many comments about the TV series Peaky Blinders, it is an entertaining read. It has historic recipes from the Black Country which I can vouch for. As a small boy, I can remember my grandfather being rather partial to pig's trotters. On the other hand, if I could have asked him about another recipe in the book, Waldorf salad, he'd have probably said, "Can I grow Waldorfs in the garden?" And on that note, all that's left for me to do is say goodbye, or if you want it in Black Country, ta-ra a bit. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.